Striker Scorpion 82 is now sponsored by Warhammer Combat Cards, a card battle game featuring your favourite Citadel miniatures from the 40k universe. Build your army decks, dominate opponents in player versus player action, collect and upgrade cards to fit your strategy, improve their power and unlock unique traits. Choose from all 40k factions, take part in campaigns based on iconic 40k battles, rise to the top of the leaderboard and win glory. Free to download and play, link is in the video description below or on the channel homepage, and by using the unique link it helps support the channel. Thanks and enjoy the game. Right, welcome to this review for the new Psychic Awakening book, Engine War, the latest one to come out from Games Workshop. So, Games Workshop, at the current situation, aren't sending out books to review, but I've managed to get my copy through gamingfigures.com, the channel sponsors here, and you get a hold of your Games Workshop stuff at a discounted rate, along with a whole load of other gaming systems as well. So check out gamingfigures.com for your discount 40k and other gaming systems also. So what I reckon I'll do with this review, it's going to be a full review, Tactica, a little bit, situation, 9th edition's coming along, so Tactica in the 8th edition mindset, there may well be some changes taking place when 9th edition comes along, and the Tactica's going to adapt and change along with that, but I'll do the best that I can here. They're saying that the rules, stratagems from the codexes and these books will remain, so it's still going to be relevant as we go into 9th edition. And I reckon what I'll do, just to make things easier for everybody, is just to break these down into separate videos. So this one here will focus in on the Adeptus Mechanicus. So you've got stratagems and traits and relics and new units to go through, and I can take my time, go through them, go through all of the information here and talk about tactics as well. And then you've got Imperial Knights, Chaos Knights, then Chaos Demons also. So hopefully do 4 parts here, and you can watch the video, or a number of videos that are relevant to you. So it's good to see some updates for these factions. Imperial Knights have been struggling. Mech have lost the edge. I think they used to have. They were doing really, really well on the channel. Last season they did exceptionally well, but they've kind of been a bit overwhelmed against other armies at times, although they're still doing okay. But Imperial Knights really have struggled. Don't have Chaos Knights, don't have Chaos Demons, but I'm sure all 4 of these factions desperately looking for an update. So all in the shadow of 9th edition looms on the horizon here. The Tide of Power, Mundus Malefica. So get your background story. The Valian Device, Technus Obligatus, Beacon of Corruption, Honor and Obsession. Just going through the artwork here. Demon Surge, Echoes of Awakening. Then as per usual you get your missions here. Diabolical Fiefs. So it's introducing here Theatres of Wars, going through the different missions. I won't dwell on these, I'm sure they're good fun to play. Here, space for a spread of artwork, and onto the Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, exciting times for them. A load of new units, loads of new units all of a sudden. Tanks and flyers, cavalry, flying infantry, fascinating stuff. And I'm not sure on the terms, quirky might be a word not everyone uses, but like a there's a hint of strangeness to some of their designs or contraptions, but I think that fits the style of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Very unique with their machinery. And I guess they shouldn't look like Space Marines or Astra Militarum. They have their own style, their own architecture, their own design style. So, as outlandish and bizarre as some of these designs are, the floating hovercraft and the bat helicopter, still, it suits. I think it does suit them. The Keepers of Divine Law. So what you're getting here, new units, which I'll cover in a moment. Extra warlord traits here, new stratagems. Interested to see what those are. People have been asking, what about the new units? I really like the look of them. When I come back round to revamping the Ad Mech, maybe with 9th edition coming along, maybe I'll inject some of these new units, but we'll see how good they are here. Forge World Dogmas as well. Forge World Canticles, so some unique stuff as you build your own Forge World. Got a name generator there as well, and just some clarifications for arc weapons, radium carbines, or radium weapons, and then Cognis weapons as well. So talk about the new units, and there's a character first of all, the Tech Priest Manipulus. So Tech Priest Manipulus, 65 points, not including war gear. So he comes with a Magnaral Lance, 0 points. Mechadendrites, which is here, 0 points, and the Omnisign Staff as well, which is 0. So it's a flat 65 points for this character. So sort of in between, cheaper than a Tech Priest Dominus. I think they're around about 80 points more expensive than a Tech Priest, sort of in between character here. For that you're getting movement 6, power level 4, weapon skill, ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 4, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 8, and 2 up saves. Not bad. It comes with all of that war gear that we've mentioned. The Magnaral Lance, range 18, heavy 1, strength 7, -3 and D3 damage. Resolve an attack made with this weapon. If the banner remains stationary in its previous movement phase, this weapon has a damage characteristic of 3 for that attack. So, a medium kind of strength weapon, not too scary. Transonic Cannon, you can swap that out and see if it's a straight swap here. No, yeah, 0, so no cost here. I've got bits of black on my fingernails here. I've been gradually scraping it off. I've been spraying up Harlequins with black spray, so that's where that black comes from. Here, as I'm trying to get my Harlequin army ready. So the cannon's range 8, so a lot shorter range. Assault D6 though, strength 4, -1, 2 damage. Resolve an attack made by this weapon, do not make hit rolls, auto hits. Yeah, it's actually a pretty good weapon, that one. You don't expect to do too much with the Magnaral Lance. Transonic Cannon, find yourself in a bit of trouble at close range, then that character can let loose of those shots, auto hits. In close combat then, the Mechadendrites, strength 4, strength for the user, AP 0, 1 damage, and it's D6 additional attacks of this weapon. And the Omnisign Staff, +2 strength, fights at strength 6, -1, 2 damage. It's not too bad. So, stat line's okay, but really you're looking for the buffs and bonuses here. So, it gets Canticles of the Omnisign, Blessed Bionics. This model has a 5+ invuln save. At the start of your movement phase, this model regains up to D3 lost wounds. So that's okay. Master of Machines. At the end of your movement phase, this model can repair one other friendly Forge World or Questa Mechanicus model from your within 3 inches. If the model is being repaired as a Forge World model, it regains up to D3 wounds. If it's Questa Mechanicus, it's 1 lost wound. And you can only use it once per turn. So that's, again, that's quite standard. Tech Priest Dominus, I think, comes with both of those as normal. And it comes with the Galvanic Field. Start your movement phase, select one of the abilities below. The model gains that ability until the start of your next movement phase. So here's the 2 options. This is what trying to separate this from a regular Tech Priest Dominus, something different. Bolster Warriors. Add 1 inch to the move characteristic of Forge World units whilst within 6 inches of any friendly model's this ability. Add 1 to advanced rolls and charge rolls made of Forge World units whilst within 6 of any friendly models with this ability. +1 advance, +1 charge. It's okay, useful enough. You might need to try and keep up with them somehow. He's not too quick himself, and you've got more mobile units that might benefit from those extra inches for charging. So it's alright. Bolster warriors, and then bolster weapons. This model cannot move for any reason. Add 6 inches to the maximum range characteristic of ranged weapons with an unmodified range characteristic of 24 or more that are equipped by models in Forge World units, whilst they are within 6 inches of friendly models with this ability. Add 2 to the maximum range characteristic of all other ranged weapons in Forge World units equipped with, whilst within 6 inches. So, not bad. You know, you're getting some extra bonuses up and above Attack Priest engines here. He's able to heal himself. He's got more wounds, better stat line, better weaponry, and then able to repair other models as well. And then this bonus here. So you're looking at a little bit of extra range for your units for shooting, or a bit more move, advances in charging as well. Then there's some bonuses. So I can see the point in taking him. Interesting model as well. It's all that bloated kind of looking character. So that's a maybe. I might get one of those. Cerberus Sulphur Hounds sounds very cool. The models out of all the new additions, I like the cavalry the most. I think they've done a great job on these. Very cool. So power level 3. I think these are cheap in points. 16 points each. Okay, 16 points each. And a phosphor blast pistol. Let's just get an idea here. Phosphor blast pistol. Ouch, got to pay 5 points for that as well. It's up to 21 points each. Expensive enough, but they've got 3 wounds here. We'll check the stats in just a moment. And sulphur breath. 0 points for sulphur breath. Clawed limbs. Yep. And then a power, you must pay for that. 4 points as well. That's on the leader, I think, the squad leader, the alpha. Yep. Oh no, right. Okay, so that's the squad leader. Each sulphur hound is equipped with 2 phosphor pistols. So you've got to add another 10 points, so 26 points each, plus sulphur breath and clawed limbs. So they are expensive. Really. Very expensive. Okay. So what you're getting here, movement 12, weapon skill 4 plus, ballistic skill 3 plus, strength 3, toughness 3, 3 wounds though, so a good amount of wounds. 1 attack, leadership 6, and then 4 plus save. Squad leader has an extra attack, keeps the 4 plus weapon skill and leadership of 7. So this unit contains 1 sulphur hound alpha and 2 sulphur hounds, so you can have a squad of 3, could additionally contain up to 3 more or 6 more, so units of 9 maximum. The sulphur hound alpha is equipped with a phosphor blast pistol and sulphur breath, clawed limbs and power maul, and then the sulphur hounds are equipped with 2 phosphor pistols, sulphur breath and clawed limbs. So nice and quick around the board. Cavalry unit that can move swiftly, but it looks expensive in points here. It says for every 3 models in that unit, so say you've got a unit of 3, one of those models can be equipped with a phosphor blast carbine instead of 1 phosphor pistol. So I guess you can keep 1 pistol and then take the carbine and maybe fire both, perhaps. And the carbine is 15 points. God. I'm surprised that these they seem to be expensive in points here. So the carbine's range 24, assault 4, strength 5, minus 1 and 1 damage. It's alright, but sort of heavy bolter kind of idea, and that's 10 points. This is 15. You get an extra shot, but you're losing some range. Result attack made by this weapon, the target does not receive the benefit of cover. So you strip cover away, which is going to help out sometimes when a unit is in cover. The blast pistol, range 12, pistol 1, strength 5, minus 1, 1 damage, and then again, no benefit of cover. The phosphor pistol, strength 4, minus 1, you just lose a bit of strength on that. The sulphur breath is range 8, pistol d6, strength 4, minus 1, 1 damage, and it's auto hits. So d6 auto hits on the target, and again, no cover allowed either. So if you get, unit of 3 cavalry, 3d6 auto hits. That's pretty good. And you're going to protect yourself quite well from Overwatch as well, with Overwatch, because it's auto hits. Okay, so Sulphur Breath's perhaps the deadliest part. Just flame. You could plunge into hordes, breathe all over them, kill them with your Sulphur Breath, and then if you do get charged, you're going to breathe all over them again. So, pretty good, actually, that one. Then you've got Clawed Limbs, melee weapon, only hitting on 4s, but you're on +1 strength, so strength 4, no minus on the AP, 1 damage, and then you get 2 additional attacks of this weapon as well. And there's the Power Maul, which is +2 strength, AP -1, 1 damage. To get Canticles, Pistoliers, you can choose to fire pistol weapons in a unit, models in this unit equipped with, even if this unit advances this turn. It'd still be the -1, but at least you can fire them. Then Rad Saturation, whilst you're within an inch of any units other than vehicles, it's -1 to their toughness. And there's a 6+ invuln save. I'm not sure what to think about these. I think it can easily be picked off at range from firepower, so you have to sneak around with them a bit. But yeah, interesting. I'm not sure about going for big units because of the issue of morale, but maybe a couple of small units. 2 units of 3 tactically might be useful, and you could catch targets out with all of the Sulphur Breath. 2 units of 3, that's 6d6 auto hits. So yeah, you could use them as a screen at the front of your army, but the danger is they get shot to pieces quite easily with enemy firepower. Wouldn't last too long. Not the kind of unit you want to stick right at the front of your army. Maybe an ambush type unit or one to use on the flanks, which is the cavalry, so it'd suit that quite well. So that's the close range firepower option. I'm not sure which ones I like the look of the most. They both look very cool. They're really nice models. Games Workshop done a fantastic job with these. So, Cerberus Raiders here. I'm not too sure on the pronunciation of these. So, 14 points a time. This is a cheaper option. Power level 2. Again, it's units of 3, 6, or 9. Up to, you can unit 4, unit 5. The Alpha is equipped with an Archeo Revolver and a Galvanic Carbine, Cavalry Sabre, and Clawed Limbs. So the Archeo Revolver, you do have to pay for that. It's 2 points. The Galvanic Carbine is 0 points. The Cavalry Sabre is 0 points as well, and then Clawed Limbs. And then the Raiders equipped with Galvanic Carbine, Cavalry Sabre, and Clawed Limbs. Okay. Interesting. And again, these models, beautiful, incredible models. I mean, just fantastic. Great to see cavalry. I know they're mechanised versions, but great to see cavalry in 40k. Really nice these are. Beautiful. I don't think I get masses of them. A couple of units just to scout around would be good enough. Same stat line throughout here. Same 6+ invuln save, Canticles. So what you get here is the Archeo Revolvers. This goes on the Alpha. Pistol 1, strength 5, -2 and 2 damage. Quite a powerful pistol, that one. The Galvanic Carbine, range 18, assault 2, strength 4. Pretty much similar to the Galvanic Rifle, just its range 18. And then if you do get 6s to wound, it's AP -1. So 5 pounds, it's okay. The Cavalry Sabre is +1 strength, and then AP -1 and 1 damage. So that's alright. But yeah, the Raiders only got 1 attack each. So not that scary. I don't expect them to do too much here. The one Raider can take an enhanced status Zephyr, and the Clawed Limbs have covered that already. So you get a few extra attacks with that, but not that impressive in close combat. Skirmishing line. At the start of the first battle round, before the first turn begins, this unit can move as if it were your movement phase. This unit must end that move more than 9 inches away from enemy models. If both players have units that can do this, the player who is taking the first turn moves their units first. So that's okay, but a scout move. Ives, Cerberus, range weapon models in this unit are equipped with can target a character unit, even if it's not the closest enemy unit. In addition, resolve an attack made by a ranged weapon by a model in this unit. Wound roll of a 6 inflicts a mortal wound on the target in addition to any other damage. So ranged weapon by a model in this unit, resolve of 6. Right, that's pretty good. 6 is mortal wounds. Okay, and you know, if you put all your firepower into characters and you start getting multiple 6s, it's a bit of trouble for them. Do need to get quite close though, because you're range 18. But it's an interesting twist with those. In the advanced status, Teffer, you can reroll failed morale tests for this unit. But again, a couple of scouting units of these. But I wouldn't be expecting too much from them. So these are more tactical units, these cavalry here. So, but wasn't expecting a deadly unit here. It's just Ad Mech. Sort of infantry on horses, so they're not really. You wouldn't expect too much from them in close combat, or their firepower. So, the Taraxi sterilizers, sterilizers. Okay. Okay, so we'll see if these are any good. So the models are interesting for sure. Power level 4. These come in units of 5 at a minimum. Unit contains 1 alpha and then 4 Pteraxi sterilizers. In addition, you can take another 5. The alpha is equipped with Flechette Blaster and Taser Goad, and then the regular sterilizer is equipped with Phosphor Torch and Pteraxi Talons. Interesting. With these, you get movement 12. Weapon skill and ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 3, 2 wounds each, 2 attacks, leadership 6 and a 4 up save. Squad leader gets an extra attacks and leadership as well of 7. So 17 points each. You're paying for premium here for these more elite type units here. Vast difference compared to the cheapness of Ad Mech infantry. A lot of anti-horde type stuff here, again with these as well. Yeah, and it's maybe where another type of unit that you deep strike in perhaps at the right time, or we'll find out what they're able to do in just a moment, or you ambush with them, you bring them out at the right points to counter a big horde moving in that's going to try and disrupt your gun line. Then these are sort of counter-attack type units. Is the idea for these in the cavalry as well. So, the Flechette Blaster is 0. The Taser Goad, I think you have to pay for that because it's 4 points for a Taser Goad. And then a Phosphor Torch is 0. And the Talons, 0 as well. Okay, so sitting at 17 points, paying a bit extra for the squad leader. So, again, they can be easily shot to pieces and they look quite hard to hide just with their big wingspan, and a unit of them would be quite big. But anyway, Flechette Blaster. I know this one because I have it on my Infiltrator strength. Range 12, pistol 5, strength 3, -0 and 1 damage. The Phosphor Torch, range 12, assault d6, strength 4, -1, 1 damage. And it's auto hits and ignores cover. Again, Overwatch, they're quite good. And the Talons, strength for user, which is strength 4, AP -1. This weapon has a strength characteristic of +1 if the bearer made a charge move or performed heroic interventions. Not too bad with the Talons. And you're getting 2 attacks base and 3 on the leader, so not bad. And the Taser Goad, it's just +2 strength melee weapon. Any 6s to hit is an additional 2 hits. So 6+ invuln save, Canticles the Omnissiah, soar away. At the beginning of your movement phase, this unit can boost into the skies. Right, so now you're starting on the ground and going up into the sky, which is interesting. Remove this unit from the battlefield. It can return to the battlefield as described in the Thermal Raiders ability. This unit can cannot both soar away and descend in the same turn. So you do disappear for a whole turn. If the battle ends while this unit is in the skies, the unit is considered to be destroyed. So, during deployment, you can set up this unit in the skies. So you've got the option. So you can start on the battlefield, or whilst you're on the battlefield at any point during the game, you can choose to soar away, in which case you leave, or you can start by deep strike and come on turn 2, turn 3. During deployment, you can set up this unit in the skies instead of setting up on the battlefield. If you do so, or the unit has boosted on into the skies using the soar away ability at the end of your movement phases, you can set up this unit anywhere on the battlefield that's more than 9 inches away from enemy models. And the range on the torch is 12, not 8. And that is huge. Because you're armed with standard flamer weapons, range 8, you get your deep strike, and you have to be 9 inches or more away, and you can't fire your weapons. So the phosphor torch will be in range if you position them well. And swooping strikes. If this unit makes a charge move, add 1 to your attacks characteristic of models in this unit to the end of the turn. So not too bad at all, actually. 2 attacks base, +1 on the charge, and fighting at, if you're on the charge, strength 5, -1, and 1 damage. It's not too bad. Again, ambushing, mopping up actions, tactical manoeuvring with them. But they're not going to take down the tougher units or cause any trouble for vehicles. So again, wouldn't expect too much from them. But fascinating models. Right, so now we have these Sky Stalkers. Interesting. So the Sky Stalkers, 15 points a time. Actually starting off a bit cheaper with these. The stat line is the same. You're still getting the weapon skill and ballistic skill 3+. So you get a unit of 5 again with a squad leader. You can take up to another 5 Sky Stalkers. The Alpha's equipped with a Flechette Blaster. Again, you have to pay for that. Only not 0 points for the Flechette Blaster. The Taser Gauge you have to pay for 4 points. And then the others are equipped with Flechette Carbines, which is 0 points. These are cheaper. They actually look a bit meaner, but they're actually cheaper. Here. Okay. So the Flechette Blaster, range 12, pistol 5, covered that already, and the Flechette Carbine as range 24, assault 5, strength 3, -0, damage, and then the Taser Gauge on the squad leader. I've covered that already. Not too scary, just a ton of shots available. Unit of 10 at range 12 is going to chuck out 50 shots. Yeah, okay. Combine that with some of the stratagems. The Wrath of Mars, 6+ is to wound is a mortal wound in addition to normal damage. Work very well with these. Pretty good. 6+ invuln save, Canticles of the Omnissiah, soar away as we saw earlier. Thermal Riders, second deep strike in. Arc Grenade Cluster. At the start of the shooting phase, you can select one enemy unit. This unit moved across this turn. And roll 1d6 for each one on this unit, adding 2 to each result if that unit is a vehicle for 5+. For each 5+, the enemy unit suffers a mortal wound. Each model in this unit. Right. So you fly over a unit of 20, and then it's 5+ is to cause mortal wounds, and then it's 3+ to cause a mortal wound on a vehicle, but it's for every model unit, so it's just a 1 roll. That's a bit of a bonus. Bit dangerous though, having to move over a unit, and by only going 12 you're going to land quite near them, so you've got to weigh that up to see if it's worth doing. Okay, so yeah, not overly impressed with these models, but they're sort of, they're expensive enough. Interesting. Yeah, I get the odd unit here and there. Don't think I'd heavily invest in these so far. So now we're on to these vehicles here. So transport vehicle for the Scorpius Dune Rider, and then the Scorpius Disintegrator is actually a heavy support choice. Fast attack here for the Sky Stalkers. Fast attack for the Sterilizers. Fast attack for the Raiders. Right, so the game's out shot of beefing out the fast attack options for the Advent. So the Scorpius Dune Rider. People have been saying to me you should be getting these to put your infantry in, but sometimes I have the philosophy of why pay the points to protect a cheap squad of infantry. You put a squad inside, but they're only a cheap squad that aren't really too significant in the game, and you're paying out points for a transport that's there to protect a squad that's not particularly going to have much impact on the game. But anyway, Scorpius Junior Rider, power level 4, 65 points is the starting cost. 2 Cognis Heavy Stubbers, so 2 points each, so 4 points for that. So you're up to 69 points. Twin Cognis Heavy Stubber. It's another 4 points, 73. And then a Broad Spectrum Data Teffer. 0 points. Okay, so quite a cheap transport. A fair bit cheaper than a Rhino. So cheap enough transport, not too bad. Movement is affected by damage. So at full bracket, movement 12. Ballistic skill 3 plus 3 attacks. Movement drops from 12 to 9 to 6. Ballistic skill is affected. 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus. And the number of attacks drops as well, all the way down to 1. So the Cognis Heavy Stubber, range 36, heavy 3. You can choose this weapon to shoot with even if the bearer advanced. Resolve an attack made with this weapon if the bearer advanced, subtract 2 from the hit roll. And then the Twin Cognis Heavy Stubber. Range 36, heavy 6. Strength 4, AP01 damage. And again, you can shoot in advance, but it's minus 2 to your hit rolls. Canticles of the Omnissiah, Broad Spectrum Data Teffer. So it can help out units nearby with leadership. Hover platform, there's no penalty for moving and firing heavy weapons. It's okay, and explodes. It's weapon skill 6 plus, by the way. Strength 6, toughness 6, 12 wounds, leadership 8, 3 up save. And the transport capacity is 10 Secutari infantry or Forge Rod infantry. Cannot transport Belisarius Core, Cataphron Breacher, or Cataphron Destroyer models. So it's okay if you really want to protect your infantry, but that's alright. The Scorpius Disintegrator next, a bit more for heavy firepower. 85 points. Here's pushing on 100 points, power level 6. Same stat line, but a bit tougher. Toughness 7. 3 Cognis Heavy Stubbers. 2 points a time, I believe, for them. It's a bit of firepower there. Disruptor Missile Launcher. So 0 points for the missile launcher. Then there is the Ferromite Cannon. 25 points. So 110 points looking at here in a Broad Spectrum Data Teffer. The Ferromite Cannon can be replaced with the Belarus Energy Cannon. Sounds really good. 20 points, so that's a little bit cheaper. The way these weapons play is deciding factor. Are these any good? Just looking to get any kind of transport capacity. So this is a gun boat here. So you can go for the Belarus Energy Cannon, which is a little bit cheaper, 20 points. Range 36, heavy 3d3, so quite reliable, way better than 1d6. You're going to get between 3 and 9 shots, so an average of about 6 shots. Strength 6, minus 1, 2 damage, and the weapon can target units that are not visible to the bearer, so it's okay. Would you pay about 100 points for that kind of firepower from a vehicle? Obviously getting your Cognis Heavy Stubbers as well, some firepower from that. Okay. The more expensive option is the Disruptor Missile Launcher. Range 36, heavy D6, you could get just 1 shot, you could get 6 shots, strength 7, minus 2 and D3 damage. Okay. So it comes with a missile launcher. Just looking here. Yeah, okay. And then the Ferromite Cannon. Range 48, heavy 3, strength 8, minus 3, 3 damage. Yeah, okay, that's pretty good. And you can take the Belarus Energy Cannon instead of the Ferromite Cannon. Oh boy. Don't know. Difficult choice. They're both pretty good weapons. Yeah. We're just supporting firepower. It's not really a tank killer, I don't think. But it can cause damage against a lot of targets. Canticles on the side, broad spectrum data for hover platforms. There's no penalty for moving and firing heavy weapons, which is very useful. And there's the rules for explode as well. Not sure what to think of them. They're okay, seem alright. But not the cheapest in points. Firepower seems alright. So, the Archaeopter, Transvector, and then the Stratoraptor as well. Archaeopter. These are the flyers here. These sort of winged helicopter type things. Helicopter kind of body to a degree, and then these bat-shaped wings going on. Actually, I actually like the look of them. I think they're very well. I love the cockpit and the glass windows at the front. Fantastic. So are the flyers any good? I'm not getting the vibe of I've got to get hold of these units. They seem okay. Well, so far all of them seem okay. But rules-wise, nothing to get too excited over. I don't think. Models-wise, yeah, there's some nice models there, for sure. The flyer's going to be interesting to see what you get for your points here. Bit surprised. Wargames Workshop would really make these amazing so that everyone would want to buy them, but they seem quite sensible. So the Archaeopter Transvector, 92 points is your starting cost. Power level 5. It's obviously a flyer option here. Well, weapon skill 5 plus strength 6, toughness 7. Not bad at all. 10 wounds though. 3 attacks to start with. Leadership 9 and a 3 plus save. So yeah, it's tough enough for a flyer. Your ballistic skill drops with damage. So 3 plus 4 plus 7, 5 plus in your attacks drop as well, and your movement 20 to 50, 20 to 35, and then 20 to 25. So you slow right down on 1 to 2 wounds remaining. It is a single model equipped with 2 Cognis heavy stubbers, so it's just not too scary. And then twin Cognis heavy stubber. It's again more DACA, but not too scary. And it has a command uplink as well. So just a bit of DACA with these, and that's pretty much it. And the command uplink as well. Don't suppose you have to pay for that. No, it is 0. It's listed here, but it's 0. Okay, so Canticles of the Omnissiah. Command uplink. If this model has a command uplink, friendly Forge World units can use this model's leadership instead of their own whilst within 6 inches. So that's the leadership of 9. So there's a little bonus there. The Chaff Launcher. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon against a model with a Chaff Launcher, reduce the damage characteristic of that weapon by 1 to a minimum of 1 for that attack. So -1 from the damage roll, which is okay. Maneuverable craft. This model moves in your movement phase. Just pivot it on the spot up to 90 degrees. This does not contribute to how far the model moves. Then move the model straight forwards. It can pivot up to 90 degrees one more time at any point during this move. When the model advances, add 20 inches to its move characteristic until the end of the movement phase. So make an advance roll. It's got airborne, explodes, hard to hit, usual rolls, and then hover jet. Before this model moves in your movement phase, you can declare it will hover. There's a movement characteristic of 20. It loses airborne, hard to hit, but it will. Okay, so it's got that option to go into hover. It can transport 6 Secretary Forge World Electro Priests, Forge World Tech Priests, Forge World Scutari Infantry models. It cannot transport Belisarius Core. So 6 models, small squad of some. Okay, so it's quick though, and it can hover. I'm just checking here. It doesn't have the flyer keyword. No. So I think you can use this to grab objectives with. Very cool to see these hovering, that glass canopy, and it just looks very good to see it hovering over the enemy and going around the back lines, dropping off little squads. Very cool. As to how competitive they are, I'm not sure. And then the Archaeopter Stratoraptor. Oh boy. For that is just 70 points, so a cheaper option here. It's power level 7 instead of power level 5. I think you've got to pay out for stuff here. It's equipped with 2 Cognis Heavy Stubbers, 2 Phosphor Blasters. So 2 Heavy Phosphor Blaster, yeah. Should be it. 0 points though, you get with that. 2 Cognis Las Cannon, or Twin Cognis Las Cannon. 40 points, so 110, and it has a command uplink. The command uplink, you can swap it out and take a chaff launcher instead if you wish. The command uplink's probably 0. It is 0, yeah. So, we know about the stubbers. The Phosphor Blaster, heavy 3. 2 heavy Phosphor Blasters, right, so you're going to get 6 shots, heavy 3. Strength 6 minus 2, 1 damage. And again, no cover. And then the Twin Cognis Las Cannon, just your standard Las Cannon rules, 2 shots, heavy 2. Strength 9 minus 3, d6 damage. You can choose to shoot this weapon even if the bearer advanced, and result in an attack made with this weapon if the bearer advanced, subtract 2 from the hit roll. So ideally you don't want to be advancing. This model you can take the chaff launcher instead of the command uplink. The command uplink, if you keep it, it's friendly Forge World units can use this model's leadership instead of their own, whilst within 6 inches of this model. Manoeuvrable craft, we cover that, hard to hit, explodes, airborne, and hoverjet as well. So, again, it seems okay. Not too bad. Yeah, useful enough. But does it? It's not gonna destroy another vehicle or enemy flyer in one round of firepower. It's supporting fire for sure, but it's not that deadly streak to it. For sure. Okay, so that's that one. Oh, a third option here: Archaeopter Fuselave. 4 Cognis Heavy Stubbers and a command uplink. And everything's the same. Stat wise, power level 6. It's 102 points starting off. Plus another 4 of those, plus another 8. So 110 points, again roughly the same as the other 2 previously. And it comes with a command uplink. So, you're getting some DACA. 12 shots with your Cognis Heavy Stubbers. Strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage, not particularly scary, range 36. So, okay. Hoverjet rules, hard to hit, airborne, explodes, manoeuvrable craft, chaff launch if you have it, command uplink. And the extra rule here is bomb rack. The end of the movement phase, this model could drop heavy bombs on one enemy unit it moved over to a maximum of 10d6. Roll 3d6 for each vehicle and monster in that unit, and 1d6 for each other model in that unit. Each roll of a 4+ is a mortal wounds. The bombs are probably the best element of these. And after that you get a DACA. It's not a flyer, so you can grab objectives with it, but there's no transport capacity for this variant here. So there's not many flyers out there that are too scary at the moment. The Eldar have obviously theirs, but you know, Necron flyers not very scary at all, I don't think. And Drukhari flyers, they got some decent heavy weapons, but it's maybe got sort of 2 shots, so not as terrifying as firepower that's going to come from, say, a guard tank. Tons of firepower, or some of the Space Marine vehicles, loads of firepower available, but most flyers, it seems, in 40k are quite tame with the weapons they can bring to bear. But that's the last one, the Fuselave. Just there, and there's a gallery. Yeah, that's the Tech Priest Manipulus, just there. So yeah, nice enough. So then, here, Holy Order Warlord traits. If an Adeptus Mechanicus character model excluding named characters as your warlord, you can select a warlord trait from below for them instead of using the warlord traits table from the Admech Codex. So these are interesting. So learnings of the Genitor here. So the way these work, at the start of your turn you can select one of the aura abilities below. To the start of your next turn, this warlord is treated as having an aura as having that aura ability on their data sheet. Ah. Yeah. Right, so you don't build them up. I was thinking you stack them after a while, but you don't. They last the whole turn, then you start again by choosing. But it is selectable, so you've got some control over these powers then. So things of the Genitor then. Remember, you're choosing one of these for the turn. The Hyper Cybernetic Physiology. Roll 1d6 each time for any Forge World Cataphron Breacher, Forge World Cataphron Destroyer, or Forge World Servitor model would lose a wound within 6 inches, so it's a 5+ feel no pain for those unit types. Biochemical Aggression. Resolve an attack made by a melee weapon by a friendly Forge World model whilst its unit is within 6 inches of this warlord, or an unmodified wound roll of a 6 wound of. So biomechanical aggression, we're resolving attack made with a melee weapon by a friendly Forge World model whilst its unit is within 6 inches of this warlord, on an unmodified wound roll of a 6. Improve the arm penetration characteristic of the weapon by 2. So for example, EP0 becomes EP -2. So 6 is to add in a bonus to bite through the armour. And then excoriated fear responses. When a morale test is taken for any Forge World unit within 6 inches of this warlord, do not roll the dice, it's auto pass on morale. So it's a pretty nice variety there. Next is analyses of the Logos. At the start of your turn, you can select one of the. Oh yeah, to cover that. So these are the different ones. Predicted movements. Resolving an Overwatch attack made by a model in a unit in a friendly Forge World infantry unit to within 6 inches. It's 5+ instead of 6s hits. Empiric prognosis. Roll 1d6 when a friendly Forge World model would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound in the psychic phase whilst its unit is within 6 inches of this warlord. 4+ that wound is not lost. Mortal wounds. Just mortal wounds that protects against. And then flaws of the foe. Resolve an attack made with a ranged weapon by a friendly Forge World model within 6 inches of this warlord and a modified hit roll of 6. The arm penetration characteristic of that weapon is improved by 1 for that attack. Yeah, okay. You get the odd 6, but it's not too amazing. Divinations of the Magos. So overloaded safeguards. Resolve an attack made by a ranged weapon by a friendly Forge World model within 6 inches of this warlord. Unmodified hit roll of 6 scores an additional hit. That one's alright. Volumes of firepower 6s. Hang on a second. Let's have a look. Resolve an attack made by a ranged weapon by a friendly Forge World model within 6 inches of this warlord. That one is really good. Just bury him in amongst your gun line. I would put him in amongst my Dune Crawlers. What's the restriction here? Yeah, okay. No, it's 6s pop extra hits. I'm just thinking, imagine that amongst a load of Dune Crawlers with all of their Gatling rocket launchers and so on. 6s popping extra hits. That's very, very useful. That. So I like the look of that. That one's jumped out at me. So far it's all been mediocre. That is very cool. 6s pop extra hits. So what else do you get here? Because you can switch. Aggressive subroutines. You can reroll charge rolls made for friendly Forge World units also in 6 inches. Interesting one. That one's pretty potent as well. And then predatory programming. When a friendly Forge World unit within 6 inches of this warlord advances, roll additional d6 and discard one of the dice when making the advanced roll. Cool. And that's meant to last the entire turn. I wouldn't bother with that one at all. But these two here are pretty good. Reroll for charge rolls. And 6s pop extra hits of shooting for units within range. Very much liking the idea of that one. And then last one here, fabrications of the artisan. So it's exquisite calibrations. Resolving an attack made by a ranged weapon by a friendly Forge World model within 6 inches of this warlord against a unit that's within half range. Improve the arm penetration characteristic of that weapon by 1. So it's alright. Mastery of the motive force. When resolving an attack made by an arc weapon by a friendly Forge World model within 6 inches of a sword against a vehicle unit. Modified wound roll of a 6 inflicts a mortal wound on the target. So this one here, for example, you've got to get yourself in that melee, you've got to get the right situation. But this one here, with the overloaded safeguards, you just set him up, you just grant that power every turn, and it's just 6s pop extra hits. It's easy to remember, and you really are going to make a difference to your firepower. Especially if you've got more stuff to fire, the better. I have the Dune Crawlers. They get tons of shots, and now 6s don't just pop extra shots; they pop also hits. It's huge. That's the. I'm always looking for the golden nugget buried in these books. This one, I like this one here. And then last but not least, enhanced engine interfaces. Friendly vehicle units within 6 inches of this model can shoot in the turn in which they fell back. Okay, and that may well be. That's very significant now. As to how significant that is for 9th edition, we'll see. Okay, that's the one I go for. I reckon I'd take this one. 6s pop extra hits. Belisarius cool as well. And 3 Dune Crawlers. And Breaches, and other units infantry nearby. That's fantastic. That was excellent. Okay, I think I've made that clear enough. So, stratagems next. And usually, half the time in these books, there's the odd nugget buried in here. Usually, what I have been doing in games is I've been making like a scan of these pages when I play my games, and then I'll just highlight maybe 1 or 2 ones that I want to remember, powerful ones. The others seems to be like you do have a good number that never really get used because they're not that potent, not worth the command point. But again, Nipe's coming, and there's meant to be more command points available, so people may well find themselves sifting through stratagems with more points to spend. So, okay, so the old Factorum Aggressor Imperative. What? Not going to remember that off by heart. Okay, 1 command point. Use the stratagem movement phase. Select 1 Cerberus Sulphur Hounds unit from your army. So, yeah, mediocre type units. I wonder if there's going to be stratagems that give them a kick. Until the end of the phase, when this unit advances, add 6 to its movement characteristic instead of making an advance roll. So, guaranteed 6-inch advance. In addition, until the end of the turn, the models in that unit can shoot as if they did not move this turn. Yeah, okay, so that helps. So, you're adding to a nice bit of speed, and it's a guaranteed bit of speed because it's fixed at 6 inches. So that is helpful. But, it's a point perhaps being spent on a unit that's not very significant, so if it's worth the command point being used on them. The Steel Rain Fusillade sounds good. This is for the Sky Stalkers. Use it in your shooting phase when a Taraxi Sky Stalkers unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. Select 1 enemy unit that is not Titanic. At the end of that phase, and resolve an attack made by a model in that unit of Sky Stalkers against that selected unit. If a hit is scored, the target is suppressed until the start of your next turn. Okay, when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model in a suppressed unit, it's -1 to hit rolls. Okay, again, it's okay. Okay. Deeply Sunk Talons. So it looks like they're just granting these. No, there's some others. But they're making sure there's a stratagem for all the new units. 1 command point, use a stratagem in your opponent's movement phase when enemy infantry units of an inch of any to actually sterilise units from your army is chosen to fall back. Roll 1d6 on a 2+. That unit cannot fall back this turn. Wow, interesting. You lock them in. Quite cool. Tactical one. Pretty good. The Raptorial Strafing Fire. 1 command point. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when an Archaeopter Stratoraptor model from your army is chosen to shoot with until the end of that phase. Resolve an attack made by a model against a unit that cannot fly. Add 1 to the hit rolls. +1 to hit rolls. Sort of a strafing run. Yeah, not bad. Okay. Tactica Obliqua. 2 command points this one. Use the stratagem in your opponent's charge phase when a Cerberus Raiders unit from your army is chosen as the target of a charge for the first time that turn. Instead of firing Overwatch, that unit can move or fall back as if it were your movement phases. Cannot advance as part of that move. You can actually run away as you're attacked. Wow, I like that. It's 2 command points, so if you want to spend out the points to try and keep perhaps more of a minor unit alive, potentially. Seismic Bomb. 1 command point, use a stratagem movement phase after moving an Archaeopter Fusillade unit from your army. Select 1 enemy unit that the Fusillade unit moved over that phase. The enemy unit is shaken by your opponent's next movement. In your next That enemy unit is shaken in your opponent's next movement phase. If a unit that cannot fly and is not Titanic is shaken, halve its move characteristic and the result of any advance and charge rolls made for it. So tactically, that's an interesting use for the flyer. Catch the opponent out with that. They've got some deadly unit that's lined up. Here it comes. It's going to go for your battle line. It's very tough, and you just fly over the top. Yeah. Hit them with the usual rules, dropping the bomb, mortal wounds, and so on. But then add that on top of really slowing that unit down. And they can really bog them down. That is interesting. Okay, so that one's useful, I think. Edges me slightly to getting that fly because of that's very useful, that is. As long as it's not Titanic and it cannot fly. Okay. Still, most units have plenty of options. The stereoscopic triangulation. One command point uses stratagem in your shooting phase when a Scorpius disintegrator model from your army is chosen to shoot with. To the end of the phase, if that model shoots all of the weapons it is equipped with at the same target, then when resolving an attack made by that model, add 1 to the hit roll, and there's no benefit of cover. So that's alright. Evacuation sequence. 0 command points. Use the stratagem in movement phase when a Scorpius Dune Rider model from your army is destroyed. Before any embarked units disembark. To the end of the phase, when a model disembarks from the Scorpius Dune Rider model, do not roll to see if it is slain. 0 CP. Yeah. Not common you see a 0 CP. I think I've only seen one other one out there. But, okay, useful enough. But again, is it useful enough? Because, well, I was going to say, would you spend the 1 command point? You're not paying anything, so you're going to use that. It's not going to cost you anything. Electrostatic overcharge, 1 command point. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when a Corpuscari Electro Priest unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. At the end of the phase, electrostatic gauntlets models in that unit are equipped with have an armor penetration of characteristic of AP -2. Pattern iteration identified, 1 command point. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when an Iron Strider Ballistari unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. At the end of that phase, resolve an attack made by model a unit against a unit without the Titanic keyword. Add 1 to the wound rolls, +1 to wounds. Okay. And then Circuitous Assassins, 1 command point. Use a stratagem at the start of movement phase. Select 1 Sicarian Rush Stalkers unit from your army. Ah, right, okay. Something to help out this unit here. From your army, it's wholly within 9 inches of any battlefield edge. Remove that unit from the battlefield. At the end of the movement phase, you can set that unit up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from enemy units, and wholly within 9 inches of any battlefield edge. So you can redeploy it with them. End of that movement phase. Yes, it's an instant redeploy. Interesting. So useful enough. Okay, keep one eye on that during a game. Could use that. Perpetual Incense. Use a stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Select 1 Sidonian Dragoons unit from your army. At the end of that phase, resolve an attack made against that unit. Subtract 1 from the hit roll. Just trying to protect them a little bit. Mechanicus Locum. Use a stratagem before the battle after nominating Warlord. Select 1 Forge World character model that isn't your Warlord. They can become a Warlord and so on. Yeah, that's nice. I'm glad that's in there because I can then pay that point and then go for Divinations of the Magos and put that onto one of my characters that isn't the usual Warlord, and all of a sudden 6s pop extra hits. Okay, and then Electro Filament Countermeasures, 1 command point. Use this stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select 1 Archaeoraptor unit equipped with a command uplink from your army. To the start of your next turn, enemy models or abilities have no effect whilst within 6 inches of that unit. Okay, I've just had a brainwave here. Yeah, see what you think about this in the comments section. Just had an idea, right? See what you think of this. There are now loads and loads and loads of stratagems to the point where we're overloaded with stratagems. We've got a generous amount of stratagems coming from the codexes, then coming from these books as well, plus some other supplements going around and other detachments and so on. I think there's way too many stratagems. Got all these other stratagems to use. So without having to change all their publications, what Games Workshop could do, and what I think they should do, and it will speed the game up, and it will make things a lot more straightforward for people, and you can still kind of shape your army how you want and match to build, and that is put a limit on the number of stratagems that you can use in a game. So for example, a 2,000 points game, you can take 10 stratagems. So Games Workshop can produce as many stratagems as they want. They can be spread out all over many publications and so on. But your responsibility as a player is, before the battle begins, as you're assembling your army, you're going, right, I'm going to take this one, this one, this one, and 7 others. Your favourite stratagems, the ones that match your army the best, and then you bring those to the battlefield, and that's your 10 stratagems, and you just use those. There's 10 to choose from. You've selected the ones that are appropriate for your army, and it just cuts out all of this extra stuff. And having to go through, like you've got a book like this that's open, you're going through, what's that stratagem called, and it just slows the game down. So I think that would solve that situation. So the diversity, the pool of stratagems are still available to choose from, and it's kind of, you're kind of seeing it with the new Maelstrom, or the newer Maelstrom War Missions of Chapter Approved 2019, where you're modifying your deck, you're taking out certain cards, you're getting a smaller deck. So the original cards are all there, but then you're then selecting the ones you want to use, and you're customizing your deck on how you want to play the game to a certain degree. So you could be the same as stratagems, just put a limit of 10 as an example, or 12, or 6, or 15, or whatever it is. But I just think that would be so much more straightforward, and it really speed the game up. You'd soon, you have your favourite stratagems for your army every time. It forces you to make some decisions, leave some out that are mediocre ones, maybes, and instead you're just taking your dependable 10, for example, that you want to use, and you'll soon memorise what they are, and you'll know them off by heart. And and then as your army adapts and your strategies start to change, you have a fresh look at the stratagems that are available, and then you can modify your deck for your stratagems. That's an idea. I think that will clear up the whole mess that seems to have been created with many of these stratagems, because they're stuck with them now. They're in the publications, so I think the only way to do it is just put a cap on them, a limit of what you can bring to a battle. So that's my idea. Personally, I think that's a good idea, but see what you think in the comments section, by all means. So see what you think of that. Okay, so Forge World dogmas then. You're sort of creating your own Forge World. If your army's battle forged, all units with the Forge World keyword will receive a Forge World dogma, so long as every other unit in their detachment is from the same Forge World. If your chosen Forge World does not have an associated dogma, and in Codex Adeptus Mechanicus you can create one by selecting one primary ability followed by one of its associated secondary abilities. Okay. Interesting. So you'll see how it works is, you're going to say, for example, Rad Saturated Forge World. The primary and the only one option here is Radiant Disciples, and then the secondary, 1, 2, 3, 4 to choose from, so there's a bit of flexibility there. So let's see if this will get me away from Mars. I highly doubt it, and I've got Belisarius Call, who is Mars anyway, so I'm pretty fixed, I think, but we'll see which ones are available here. So Rad Saturated Forge World. So the primary one then, Radiant Disciples. Resolve an attack made by a ranged weapon against an infantry unit with this dogma that is not within 12 inches. Subtract 1 from the strength characteristic of the weapon for that attack. So it's okay. But you're trying to protect infantry, which is sort of your least important units. The secondary, Luminary Suffusions, you could choose this one. Rad Saturation, subtract 1 from the strength toughness characteristic of enemy models whilst units within 3 inches of any models from your army with this ability. Or you can go for Scarifying Weaponry. Radium weapons, models with this dogma equipped with have an armor penetration characteristic of AP -1. So we're really trying to help out the infantry here. So AP -1, it's okay. If your army's themed that way, then you are getting rewarded for it, I guess, if you're going for a rad type weaponry. Another secondary is the Omniscience Shield. Resolve an attack made by a melee weapon against an infantry unit of this dogma, reduce the armor penetration characteristic of that weapon by 1. Again, it's against infantry, trying to help them out a little bit. Then Machine God's Chosen. Moralitas is taken you halve the number of models that would flee, which is quite a minor bonus, I think. So, okay, I don't think I'd be tempted by any of those. Expansionist, Forge World. So primary is accelerated actuators. At the end of the charge phase, if a unit of this dogma made a charge move, was charged or performed heroic intervention, improve the arm penetration characteristic of melee weapons. Models in that unit are equipped by 1. So yeah, that's good. That is good. Yeah. So I'm thinking of, for example, Taser Goads at AP-1. Pretty good. Yep. Yeah, because a lot of melee weapons are pretty poor when it comes to AP minuses. So that is good. That one. So if you're going for hyper aggressive, you like your combat units for AdMech, then that one's really good. Now your secondary forward operations. At the start of the first battle round, before the first turn begins, Skitarii Rangers units of this dogma can move 6 inches. This unit must end its move more than 9 inches away from any models. If both players have units that can do this, the player who's taking the first turn moves their units first. So a bit of manoeuvrability of the Rangers. So, you know, this is rewarding if you're going to go for a certain theme and style, maybe a really aggressive melee AdMech army or gunline or whatever it is, loads of infantry, loads of tanks, whatever it is, you can customise it for your army build. Another secondary is Acquisitive Reach. Add 6 inches to the range characteristic of rapid fire weapons. So Galvanic Rifles range 30 becomes range 36. Rugged Explorators. Models of this dogma do not suffer the penalty for advancing and firing assault weapons. Okay. And then the last one here, Dominus Command Net. Broad Spectrum Data Tether. Add 1 to leadership characteristic of friendly Forge World units whilst within 9 inches of models that have a broad spectrum data tether. That's it. Okay, so I like the first one. The secondaries are all okay-ish, but the +1 for melee is pretty good. Data Horde Forge World. Magna Bonded Alloys is the primary. When a vehicle model with this dogma would lose a wound, roll 1d6. On a 6, the wound is not lost. So 6+ feel no pain on vehicles. That's pretty good, especially if you've got loads of vehicles. If that's your theme, that's a good reward there. The next is the secondary is the Omnitrack Impellors. Add 1 to the move characteristic Cataphrone Breachers, Destroyers, and Onaga Dune Crawlers. Okay. Or the servo-focused Auguries. Resolve an attack made by a Cognis ranged weapon by a model in this dogma against a unit that is within half range. You can reroll the hit rolls. Again, it's alright. Secondary Auto-Savant Spirits. At the start of your turn, if a vehicle model of this dogma has lost any wounds, you can regain up to 1 lost wound. Yeah, I would combine those two then. 6+ feel no pain. Auto regain a wound. Fantastic. That's a pretty good combo. Then secondary Transnode Power Cores. When resolving the attack made by an arc weapon by a model of this dogma, an unmodified hit roll of 5 or 6 scores an additional hit. Okay, now I like those two. Auto regain a wound and 6+ feel no pain. Excellent. So if you're going for loads of the transport vehicles, for example, then add that in to make them more resilient and the ability to heal wounds. Cool. Okay, so now we've got Kenticles here. So before the battle, if your warlord is an Adeptus Mechanicus character and their Forge World is one of those listed below, you can select one of the Canticles in the Canticles of the Omnicide table to be replaced by that Forge World's Canticle. Oh, how interesting. Now I reckon I'd definitely take a look at this. Because there's some Canticles, there's one of them especially that's, if you find yourself a unit within, you find yourself that you're a unit, you're within an inch of an enemy unit, you roll a dice, and on a 6, it causes a mortal wound. I mean, it's hardly ever it's worked out. So it's utterly useless, so that's interesting. Mars. Okay, so Riser first of all. Citation in Savagery. The arm penetration characteristic of melee weapons models in the affected units equipped with is improved by 1. That is excellent. Yep, really, really good. Really, really good, that one. Come on, Mars. The panegyric procession. Models in affected units do not suffer the penalty for moving and firing heavy weapons. Okay, increase the strength characteristic of heavy weapons. Model in the affected units equipped by 1. Yes, that is really good. My Dune Crawlers. Yes, that is very, very good. Yep. Heavy weapons. Yes. Excellent. Right, okay. Yep. I'm going to swap that one in. Lovely. Yeah, really good. And then Lucius, Luminescent Blessing. I'm getting the idea that all of these are going to be pretty good. Could be wrong. Luminescent Blessing for Lucius. Improve the invuln save models and affected units by 1 to maximum 4+. That's incredibly good. Wow. Okay, the Metallica, Tribute of Emphatic Veneration. Resolving attack made against an affected unit by an enemy model within 9 inches, subtract 1 from the hit roll. That's okay. The Gratia, Mantra of Discipline. When resolving an Overwatch attack, it's 5+ to hit instead of 6s against. So, okay, that's not bad. The Agrippina. There you go, I'll not try again to pronounce it. Verse of Vengeance. When an infantry or cavalry model in an affected unit is destroyed, roll 1d6 before removing that model from play. On a 5+, that model can either shoot with one of its ranged weapons as if it were a shooting phase, or make one attack with one of its melee weapons as if it were the fight phase. Not bad at all. Infantry or cavalry. And then Styges, Plea of the Veiled Hunter. Affected units can shoot in a turn in which they fell back, but if a unit does so, resolve an attack made by a ranged weapon by a model in the unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Yeah, not bad at all. I'm happy with the Mars one. There's some other great ones. +1 invuln save, fantastic. Extra minus on the AP for melee weapons. Brilliant. So then you get a name generator, and that is it. So the next video hopefully will be on Imperial Knights. Looking forward to see if there's any kind of bonuses for them. But that's Adeptus Mechanicus. So apart from a handful of decent bonuses, the rest is okay. I don't think it was as deadly as the bonuses that the Space Wolves got, for example. It's utterly fantastic stratagems that they got. Like really, really powerful ones. But Psychic Awakening here for the Admech. There's some okay stuff in there. A couple of nuggets that I'll draw into my army, and I'm sure it will be a help, but nothing overwhelmingly good. As for the new units, sculpt-wise, mod collector-wise, I think they're amazing. All of them are really, really nice. As far as including them, I don't think I'll be in too much of a rush. Depends on what kind of theme and direction my current Admech army goes, but to maybe inject a few, yes, even just for the sake of collecting them, because they're fantastic models, for sure. Not sure what I'd go for, not entirely sure what it would be. Just depends perhaps where the gap is in my Mech army, what needs to be filled up. But that's the review for the Adeptus Mechanicus. Keep a look out for the other videos. I'll try and release those along as soon as I can for this review. Check out gamingfigures.com for your discount 40k and other gaming systems. And thanks for watching, and tune in next time.